he scores! This game is over.
Hello and good afternoon to you all from the John Breslow Hockey Center here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Sorry for the delayed start. Had a couple of technical difficulties right as we were supposed to roll around, but we were able to work through it and get live right away. Gabe Daniel alongside Mike Hoblick. It's game number 2 of the weekend between the two teams. Kansas took a commanding 8-3 win last night, had a phenomenal first period, but it really just looked like they started to coast their way through the last 40 minutes of that game. So that's going to be one of the biggest keys, is just playing a full 60 minutes they talked about in the team meeting this morning. And that's obviously going to be a key for going against a Nebraska team that's going to be fired up and wanting to get back at it. And then those who saw the little scrum that happened in the far corner towards the last 5 minutes of the game, everyone involved in that got roughing penalties, and they are in the lineup for tonight as the puck is ready to be dropped. And we are underway as it's won back over to Hearn. Quickly off the boards, trying to find it to do so. Ends up going to Zadakis, and he'll bank it off the boards right in front of the Nebraska bench as we are underway. As it's Nelson through center over to the left wing, over to Duso, who just throws it to the corner, and it's going to be picked up there by Pate. Now Pate rims it. Well, he tried to rim it back around, but he collided there. And it's going to be Bierenstraw having to lead the charge for the Huskers as it's dumped in. Miles playing it with a stick to the corner. Quevedo picks it up for the Huskers. Davis trying to drop it back, and it's going to be sent to the corner. As it's going to be, looks like that's Hearn along the boards trying to poke it loose. And it'll go back over to Roberts now. Roberts lifting that one up into the air as it's settled by Bienkowski and chipped back in, and a partial change for the Jayhawks. Hearn, the headman, to Zadakis, tips it into the zone. It's going to be a foot race for the puck, but it's going to be knocked away there and picked up by Weber. Weber across over to Topol. Topol on the right side shoots one, punched away by Miles using the blocker there. Picked up by Weber to the corner now. Datina trying to center it, and it's going to be Feeney. A nice backhand saucer pass, finding it up over to Bullard. Now Bullard walks it in, shoots. Looked like it got blocked up front, sent to the corner. Now Feeney trying to play it around. Nessa back behind the net. Curls around to Feeney again, and the corner ends up riding around, held in by Bullard. And Bullard will walk it down to the hash marks up front. The Feeney shoots, and he fell down as he took the shot. Now Nessa picking it up in the left corner. He's met quickly there by number 15 for the Huskers. A one-time shot by Breyer, just sailing wide. Breyer scored off of a shot very similar to that last night.
You have to think the Nebraska coaches really did emphasize getting off to a fast start after last night's game. Like you mentioned earlier, 6 goals in the first period, and other than that, Kansas was outscored in the last 2. You think that they're going to come out physical as you see a couple of hits already in this first period.
So a shot there by number 49, Timmy Leroy, missing the net there, and it goes up into the netting, and we get a stoppage with 17:40 left to go.
You saw a hit in the Nebraska zone on John Feeney. Was not very happy after that. Puck was gone maybe for about half a second. He was leveled. Looked like he wanted a penalty, got none. Looks like the refs might be keeping the whistles in their pocket early again.
So this face-off controlled by the Huskers as it's Leroy. He skates it around the net. He'll walk it up and drops it back over to number 3, Matt Leslie. Yeah, it's just going to be Heiberg trying to wheel around with it. He'll send it back over to Leslie. Cross ice over to Bonthias. Bonthias blocked by Gerber, and he's going to swing down on the left side, heading towards the center. Shoots it over the net there. So a great job there by Gerber getting down low to block that shot. And it's going to be chipped into the zone by the Huskers, and an icing call here, this time with 17 even left to go.
First really, truly good opportunity there for the Jayhawks. A little bit of a breakaway. Nebraska defenseman got there fast. Just shot right over the net. It's good to see some pressure early, though, by both sides. This is around the time last night, Gabe, where the Jayhawks netted their first goal. See if that can happen here.
So this face-off controlled by Nebraska. But holding the line there was Carney. He tried to chip it in, but it quickly hit Pate, and Pate tries a headman pass up for Heiberg. Goes a little too far, and it's going to be Van Heerden getting things going for Kansas. Dumped in. Now Pate will try to get it out. He does so, but it goes right over to Van Heerden again as it's Dugan providing some pressure on him. Now McGinnis jumping in to help him out. Van Heerden again, off the boards, trying to get it out. Schubert even swinging his stick to try and sweep it out, but it's going to be a shot right there on Miles.
Boy, here we go.
Trying to poke that puck loose well after the whistle, trying to get into their heads early on.
Looks like Van Heerden with a little check to the back there of Nebraska defenseman. Physical early, like we just mentioned. I mean, both teams are coming out ready. Full 3 periods here for the Jayhawks was extremely emphasized this morning.
So a shot from the point. It looked like it might have been tipped on the doorstep. Either way, Kansas trying to get it out, and they do so. But it's quickly sent back in. Roberts having to loft that one up into the air. Nebraska needing to get back on side, and Zadakis takes a hit there right in front of the bench. Goes right over to Broadfoot, who's in goal for the Huskers today. Alex Koff backing him up. Do so back to Hearn, up to Zadakis, who tipped it in, and it's no icing as it was tipped there by number 7, Sean Rogers, the team captain for the Huskers. He took a little bit of a tumble right behind his own net, but he was able to get the headman pass that connects with Evan Datina. Now Datina on the right side. He tried to make a nice move around Hearn, but Hearn able to prevent that from happening.
Zadakis took a nice hit on there by the bench. Once again, like I said a couple minutes ago, they're gonna keep the whistles in their pockets unless they absolutely have to take one out and call a penalty. Just a lot of hits, a lot of finishing checks so far. A couple shots on goal for both sides too. I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska immediately got a shot if they win this faceoff here.
So Weber won it back over to number 15. That was Jakubsma, as it's Topol playing it to the corner, but it's going to be stripped away by Walsh. Does a little circle in the corner now, but Weber providing the pressure there as he takes it away to Datina up front. Shoots, and it just misses the net there. Miles might have gotten a piece of it as Siddons tried a headman pass up to Feeney. It's going to go the length and an icing here, this time with 15 even on the clock.
Datina with a nice shot there on Miles. Looked like if Miles either got a piece of that or was deflected before. We said yesterday, that's one of the guys you do not want having a wide open net right in front of him with no one except him and the goalie. He'll make you pay for it really fast.
So 0-0 our score, just 5 minutes into this one. As the face-off looked like it was won by Kansas. Breyer, first one of the puck there in the far corner. As it was McCray. He tried to send it back over to Jacobsma at the point, but it goes the length, and he'll have to start play from back behind his own net. Dropped it over to Bienkowski. Bienkowski tries a headman, and it'll go the length for an icing. This stoppage coming with 14:35.
Kansas needs to get a couple shots here. Nebraska has been aggressive early on with their offense. Not a lot of zone time here for the Jayhawks. Going to need to see if they can get a good little shift here.
It's a much quieter start to this one as opposed to last night.
It was back-to-back-to-back last night.
But I think part of that just goes as with the magic of back-to-backs, especially in the sport of hockey. One game can be a complete blowout, then the next day it'll be completely different. And there's going to be an early penalty here on the Huskers. Brett Siddons a little slow to gather himself.
A little chirping back and forth. Yeah, that one was a little egregious there. Kansas power play needs to get it something shots here. They need to just get a good power play unit. Their power play unit needs to get a good shift here because last night not performed the best. Didn't get a lot of opportunities either. It was either even or they were on the penalty kill.
And one of the biggest things I noticed going back and rewatching the power play, they left Luke Nessa untouched right in front of the goalie. And with the rebounding control we saw last night, you got to just fire shots on net, and then Nessa's going to be right there to poke it home. So obviously not doing too much or trying to force a play is going to be a key here. And just, throwing those shots again on net. It's one of those interview answers that's just oversaid. It's pucks on net. And I think if Kansas does that a lot here on this power play, they're going to have some success.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you just mentioned, they just need to shoot toward him. Broadfoot was the third string last night. He's getting to start today. See how comfortable he actually is being in net right now, especially with the man advantage for the Jayhawks.
So Feeney, a drop pass over to Nelson. Nelson from the deep slot will send it over to Siddons, back over to Nelson. He's going to walk it in, curling back around. Now over to Siddons, who just takes a wrister, blocked up front, and then quickly dumped down by McCray. And Miles will try to play it up. Off the boards, it goes right to the tape of Leslie, who tries to walk it in, but it's going to be picked up by Nessa. Nessa, a nice pass over to Feeney. Feeney's going to chip it into the corner, and quickly racing after it's going to be Siddons. Back over to Nessa. Now over to Siddons. Insured to Feeney. Played it back, trying to find Nessa again. It'll be along the boards over to Dusso. Dusso to the corner. Leslie, who picked it up for the Huskers. He's going to use the glass to send it out. And then looked like Leslie and Nessa exchanged a couple of words there, but you could see the referee looking right at him, telling him to relax a little bit. So yep. Nelson walking it in. He's going to wrap around the net, tries a wraparound shot, and it's going to be saved there by Broadfoot, and the Huskers dump it down.
That was almost a beautiful wraparound goal there.
So that was a good look there by Nelson as Feeney tried to chop it off the boards to get it out of the zone. Great pressure by McGinnis to keep it in, and Siddons is going to try to walk it out. So Siddons carries it in. Still with it at the top of the circle. Dropped it back over to Gerber. Gerber over to Nelson. Nelson walking in. A great screen there by Siddons. Just right on the doorstep. And then the puck will go back behind the net. As there's a battle along the board. Siddons and Nessa for the Jayhawks. But it's going to be picked up quickly with ease by Pate and pressured back out. Now Gerber with it. He's going to wrap around his own net as the Huskers are back to full strength. So a successful start to the penalty kill unit as Gerber just walking in. He's going to curl around the net, trying to drop it back to Fantoni. Shoots one, just sent wide. And it'll go right over to Broadfoot. Played it over to Weber. Weber lofts that one up in the air, glove down by Walsh, but it's going to be picked up by Datina. Datina from the slot, a nice drop pass over to Weber. Weber trying to find someone open. Leslie a drive from the point, And it might have been blocked up front by Walsh, and a nice headman pass there to Gerber. And he's just going to get upended there by Bonthias. So Bonthias with the puck. He's going to get a headman up over to Topol. Topol across to Datina. Datina makes a nice move, walking in, shoots, and a save made by Miles. And it's sent over to Gerber. He backhands it out of the zone, picked back up by Bonthias, who's going to crank it back in. The Huskers having to get back on side. And that'll allow Kansas to get a partial change going. Schubert sending it back to Fantoni, but it's going to be picked up there by the Huskers in the corner.
Both teams are throwing punches back and forth to each other, just getting a couple shots each on goal. Not a lot of center ice time here. It's mainly just either on one side and shifts very quickly.
As the puck dumped in, it looked like it was Miles playing it aside for Schubert. As they try to pass it up, Heiberg forcing it back in. Now Bullard for the Jayhawks picks it up, wrapping it around the boards, trying to find it over to Mead. Now Mead over to Bullard. And it looks like Bullard will just try to loft that one in, and it's sent back the other way in an icing on Nebraska. So 0-0 our score, almost halfway through the first period, but both teams starting to get a few good looks.
This is the time where you're really going to see now. I think Kansas is realizing that the more that they can get the bodies in front of Broadfoot's eyes, we saw on the power play the last really good opportunity they had. There was around 4 bodies from both, 2 from around both teams. Right in front of the net, fired a shot. You just hope that one of them, maybe it just sneaks in.
So Roberts, a bank pass that was intended for Duso, but it'll end up finding its way to Zadakis. And he's able to shake off a nice hit there from McCray. Now Nelson trying to drive it in, a blocker save there by Broadfoot. Struggled to keep it, but luckily his teammates were there to get it out of the zone before Nelson goes in and pokes it to keep it in. Nelson got hooked a little bit there, still able to get a shot on net, and Zadakis getting knocked down in front of the net, and it's going to be skated up and out there by number 49, Timmy Leroy. So Leroy shoots one, save made by Miles, and a stoppage with 9:57 left to go.
Zadakis has been popped a couple times. That one was a little high on the opposing end. I'm surprised there was not even a ref didn't even really look at it. Yeah, Zadakis was just talking to the referee actually about that hit, I believe.
So the face-off to the left of Mitch Miles. Sent up over to Duso, who's able to get it out of the zone, but it's quickly picked up by Bonthias. Nelson able to poke it away. Zadakis throws it in. It'll be picked up by Leslie. So he tries to lead the breakout for Nebraska, and there's a big hit there by Zadakis. However, the Huskers with a nice shot there, blockered away by Miles, and it goes back behind the net along the boards. Now Breyer, great job back behind the net as it's sent up over to Duso. Duso, a backhand pass. As Zadakis able to swat that away. And it looks like Zadakis getting knocked down again as he's a little slow to gather himself. That's going to be something we got to keep an eye on the remainder of the game.
Not sure if he has a target on his back. It's mainly just him that's being hit right now.
And it looks like he is leaving the bench for right now.
Hopefully he
there's a nice hit along the boards by Luke Nessa. As you just see the physicality starting to ramp up from both sides as it's Jacobsma and Nessa starting to exchange a little bit again.
Yeah, Jayhawks aren't going to take lightly to that hit.
So Van Heerden won the battle in the corner, couldn't get it out as it's thrown back in. It'll be picked up by Nessa, who tried to play it off the boards to get it out of the zone, but it's going to be picked up there by Breyer as he was able to fight that through. Now it's Clover over to Biankowski. Biankowski, a nice move, shoots one on net. Blocker save made by Miles, and they'll hop on top of that. And a stoppage here. As you see a little bit of pushing and shoving after the whistle. It looked like it was between Clover and Breyer.
We still got 2.5 periods left. I mean, this is going to be a firework-filled game. Mitch Miles very lucky that he saw that puck deflected a couple times right in front of him. It was a nice hard shot right off the stick. Slowed down a lot, though.
So the pass intended for Gerber. He tried to just one-hand poke that out, but it's Fantoni with it again. This third line for Kansas had a phenomenal night last night with Gerber, Medina, and Fantoni all getting onto the board. As is Fantoni on the left side. He's able to dump it in. He gets upended by Pate, and he'll get a little bit of a rise from the crowd there. Walsh trying to hold the line the best he could, but it's going to be poked out by Datina. Now up over to Pate. Now Weber drops it back over to Datina. Datina walk it in from the slot. Backdoor shot, save made by Miles. And the pushing and shoving after the whistle continues.
It's constant. Every time you touch the pad of your goaltender, look at Mitch Miles. Had the puck in his glove there, just threw it. He escapes that old ruckus right there and just throws the puck away. Doesn't even have a stick. One person who's not fazed by stuff like that is the goaltender, Mitch Miles. You can poke at him, you can do whatever you want to him. He's going to stay as locked in as he was before the game and during.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kansas does have to stay calm and collected. That way they don't, pick up any penalties that would affect them down the road, as they do have more games to look forward to. As it's going to be picked up by Nelson. He stops a little bit before getting a pass over to Bullard. Bullard shoots one in, unable to get on net. It'll ride the boards around to do so. He's quickly met by Baronstraw and Leslie. Now over to Bonthias. Bonthias off the glass. Unable to get it out of the zone as it was forced back in by Nelson. So Bonthias will get it over to Quevedo. Quevedo banking it off the boards behind his own net. Finding it back over to Quevedo. Quevedo walks in, shoots it, and over the net and out of play. So a lot of pucks out of play to start off this game.
We might see the continuous just back and forth down the ice for most of this entire game. It hasn't really let up at all. Definitely a way bigger difference than yesterday's first period, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. 6:47 left to go. 0-0 still our score. As the face-off looked like it was won by either Kansas and then another puck out of play. So with 6:42 left to go.
There's a lot of little shoving and stuff. We saw physicality yesterday's game, but I wasn't this physical and this chippy early. Wait a little bit until the second and third period to get that. We got it already.
So Feeney try to split the defenders there, but Nebraska quickly getting their stick on that. As it's Schubert trying to swat it away. Leroy shoots off the post.
That was a rocket.
Rebound picked up there by Feeney, who gets it up over to Nessa. And it looked like Jakubsma getting a hand up a little bit there. So Hearn swatting that one out of play, and it looked like Schubert got knocked down there.
It looked like he almost got tripped. Not sure if he was just poked in the back or tripped. I couldn't really see it, but yeah. Now Kansas is going to need some zone time here. They need to win this face-off and just get a nice little charge headed down the other way.
So this face-off won by Nebraska, and it looked like Schubert got knocked down again as he was racing for the puck. So it's going to be Clover with it, shooting one short side. Miles knocking that one away with ease, and then Miles on top of that one. And then you see the Kansas skaters just going in, making sure that they don't try to poke anything loose or, get into the head of Miles.
immediately to his defense there. Great job, though. Didn't get that one cleanly at first, and then immediately found it. Froze it.
Now a shot from the point by Pate, blocked up front. As it's Fantoni wrapping it around the boards. Try to get it up over to Medina, but Pate quickly there to keep it in the zone for the Huskers. Now another corner battle. Looked like it was Van Heerden able to get that. He's just going to chop it in right to the glove of Broadfoot. And another whistle here with 5:21 left to go.
It looked like Van Heerden got hit a little bit and then tripped over the referee's skate. I believe that's why he fell down. It looks like he just got tripped. Fortunately, there's no tripping penalties on referees.
So right off the draw, Nelson racing to the corner to try and hold it in, but it's going to be Topol getting it out for the Huskers. Breyer battling for the puck right there, but it's going to be Topol taking it away for the Huskers. Dropped it back to Datina, and it's thrown to the corner. On it for the Jayhawks is going to be Walsh. Turnover up front, Topol with it. Had it at his feet, so that'll slow the play down a little bit. Now Nelson with it into the corner. Some nice edge work there, so he's trying to work it up. A nice one-hand pass over to Dusso, and Dusso is going to carry it in. Shoots it. Looked like he might have gotten a piece of it. There was Broadfoot, but Breyer's going to hold the line. Breyer finds it to Walsh. Walsh shrugged off the puck there in the corner, and it's going to be dumped in there by Leslie. Picking it up is going to be Breyer. Breyer, the head man, up to Nelson, who tipped it into the zone, and that'll finish the line change for Kansas. As it's a head man pass up over to Leroy. His backhand pass intercepted there by Nessa. A nice pass over to Siddons now on the right side. Siddons, saucer to Feeney, shooting, unable to get on net. And it's going to be Siddons with it. Siddons up to Hearn, one-time shot, kick save made there by Broadfoot. Blocked up front on the rebound there. And it's going to be Leroy skating it down for the Huskers. Cross ice over to Heiberg. Heiberg, top of the circle shot, blocked up front by Roberts. And it looks like the puck found its way over to Miles.
Kansas just had a great rush going the other way. A couple really good opportunities, nice little shots. Nebraska was there, though. Broadfoot had a nice couple of saves. For not being the third string yesterday, Broadfoot's shown up in this first period for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. A much better first period from Nebraska. As off the draw, Kansas won it. They try to bank it off the boards to get it up over to Feeney, but it's going to be Datina skating it right back in. Datina trying a short side shot. Miles turning it aside. As it's going to be Jakubsma. His shot easily blockered away by Miles. Roberts around to Hearn. Datina with it now. Trying to throw it on net, but a nice break up there by Siddons. Blocked up front by Roberts again, and now Gerber's going to turn on the Jets. Gerber to Siddons. Siddons trying to pass it through some traffic. Hit a Husker up front. So they'll send it out. Schubert across to Medina. Now Medina, he's going to try to walk it in. Carrying it down on the left side. He'll go under the goal line. Medina still with it. Off the boards to Van Heerden. His wrister from the blue line. Not on net. Thrown back to the corner where the Huskers will try to play it around. Medina laid a hit on Quevedo, and he's going to get called for that.
There have been multiple hits like that already in this game, and none have been called. So, all right, Jayhawk penalty kill. See how they see what happens here. Medina's got to be careful.
So a hit from behind the signal. So a 5-on-4 power play for Nebraska with 2:37 left to go.
Not sure that's I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that call, really, Gabe. We've seen multiple hits like that have been way worse than that already this game. Not have been called.
As it's Leroy. Top of the circle shot over the glass. or rather over the net, off the glass, and it's going to be up over to Nelson. A short-handed break. Nelson with speed leading the charge. Hooked a little bit there. So his shot not on net. Now it's going to be a battle back behind the net. It's going to be McGinnis getting it up over to Leroy. Cross over to Dugan. Now Leroy with it. Leroy walking it in under the goal line, trying to go around the net, looking for an open opportunity. He'll send it over to McGinnis. McGinnis shoots one up front, off the post again. And up over to Nelson, streaking down. Nelson with some space, moving in, shoots! And just making a save there was Broadfoot, but a penalty will be called for a hook.
That's twice Nelson's had a breakaway there, the shorthanded breakaway. Nebraska fans not happy, going to be discussion here.
So a penalty shot for Tyler Nelson.
You don't really see that very often, do you?
Not at all. The first penalty shot of the year for Kansas. Tyler Nelson, the leading scorer, had a hat trick last night. So a minute 44 left to go in period number 1. Nelson with a chance here.
Before he takes a shot, Gabe, on that first breakaway where Tyler Nelson had, I mean, it looked like he had a wide open lane with no Nebraska players around, and then Matt Leslie, the defenseman, came flying out of nowhere and prevented him from even getting a shot on net.
And that just shows you what kind of speed that Tyler Nelson has, as he was just right there at the point, ready to stop some of the Nebraska defensemen from getting a nice shot there. He was able to clog up that pass and then just wheeled it down and then got hooked on the breakaway.
See if he can capitalize here on this penalty shot. I don't know if you'd really have any other person taking this shot if you're the Jayhawks here. Like you mentioned, the leading scorer. Hat trick yesterday. He's on fire. See if he can capitalize here.
Hey, the puck's over there.
The fans trying to chirp Nelson, but I don't think they understand that the referee has to blow the whistle before he takes the shot. So Nelson will start from the blue line before he picks up the puck. He's going to generate some speed closer as he moves in, tries a fancy move, and he scores! A beautiful move by Tyler Nelson.
You love to see it, Gabe. That was gorgeous.
As he just walked in, fanned the stick right over the puck, and then did the same move he's tried on those other breakaways he's had. And it's 1-0 Kansas with a minute 44 left to go.
There's not really much you can do for Broadfoot there. That was just a gorgeous move that Tyler Nelson just made on him. Hockey goalie is a hard position, Gabe.
Yeah, absolutely. And then right off the draw, it was just chopped into the zone. Broadfoot made the save, and he'll throw it right back behind the net. So a minute 33 left to go now. 54 seconds on the penalty handed out over to Lance Medina.
Your Kansas just want to keep clearing this puck. Get to the second period here with the 1-goal lead.
So a shot by Heiberg, turned aside by Miles. Breyer had it in the corner, but he's pressured off the puck, and Zach Zadakis back out onto the ice. Medina made a nice move, shot it in. Nowhere on net, but it's going to be Bienkowski with it now. Bienkowski passing it back behind the net over to Heiberg. Heiberg over to Bienkowski. He's going to try to wrist one through traffic, blocked up front off the rebound. Going over the net now. Datina with it again. Shoots one on net, save made by Miles, and off the rebound they put it home. And we are tied at 1.
Got a hockey game, Gabe.
So just great zone control there by the Huskers. Following that rebound, and it's 1-1 with 45.8 seconds left on the clock here.
Miles made a save at first. Looked like it just bounced off his pad. Couldn't get control of it, and it just snuck right through the 5-hole.
So Bienkowski with it. Chopped into the zone. Hearn sending it right out. And it's going to be a headman pass up over to Bullard. Trying to find it over. Now do so. So the Huskers send it right back out. Roberts trying to bank it in. There's Roberts with it again in the corner. So he tries to just push that one over to Hearn. It's back behind the net. And Hearn getting a piece of it up over to Duso. Duso across to Bullard. Bullard just going to chop that one in. Racing after it was Nelson, but it looks like Broadfoot will hang on for a whistle. And the referees with a late whistle there.
Extremely late whistle. I thought the puck was still loose, maybe. Confused me. It's 3 seconds left. Maybe you can just win this faceoff and get a nice little quick shot. You have to be really quick, though. I think Tyler Nelson's trying to maybe get a little retaliation penalty here. They've been talking the entire day so far, the entire game.
So I was wrong. Zadakis wasn't back out onto the ice, but he is back behind the Kansas bench.
Good to see.
As the faceoff was controlled by Nebraska there, but it won't matter as that'll end things here for the first period. The score almost exactly how we started with a tie, but both teams with one. Again, Gabe Daniel alongside Mike Hoblick will be back in just a little bit for the first period interviews. All right, so an early start to this second period. We do apologize about that. Wasted no time to get back out there.
They were ready.
Gabe Daniel alongside Mike Hoblick. It's 1-1.
It was a great first period of hockey both ways, Gabe. It was very physical. It was just actually a very fun period to watch. There was never really a dull moment. Both sides, I mean, really, just like a track meet. As I think we're about to see again here.
So an interception there in the neutral zone by Bierenstraw, and a shot right to the glove of Miles. And a stoppage.
Wasting no time. Zach Sudeikis back out on the ice now. Really good to see. Early in the first period, looked like he got hit a little, I don't know if it was low or a little high, maybe knocked the wind out of him for a second. Almost looked like he was limping too.
It's going to be Juan back over to Bienkowski. Bienkowski tried a headman pass, intercepted by Nelson, and the Jayhawks have to get back on side, and they'll get called for that. So a stoppage with 19:14 left to go in period number 2.
Jayhawks got to be careful. Evan Datina, you scored the goal for the Huskers on that power play, or you assisted, I believe. He always creates opportunities because with his handles. Stick handling is probably his best quality, and speed too.
This is back behind the net. Roberts trying to send it around, but Datina right there to hold it in. So Datina in the far corner. Poked off the puck by Nelson, and Nelson's going to turn on the Jets here. Datina trying to hack at his stick. Nelson still has it, splits the defenders, moving in, shoots, and he scores!
Got to be kidding me. It's ridiculous. They look like no opportunities. There'll be three Nebraska players there, and he'll just go through all of them. And then somehow find a way to put the puck in the back of the net. That's just absurd.
So Tyler Nelson does it again, just turn on the Jets and flew down there, and Kansas regains the lead early here in the second period. As it's back over to Leslie for the Huskers, off the boards, picked up by Dusso. Dusso finds it over to Nelson. Walking in, shoots, blocked up front. And Sudeikis right there to pressure that puck back into the corner where Bontheus will try to get it out for the Huskers. The headman pass connects over to Leroy. Leroy pressured off the puck there by Breyer. Breyer gets knocked down in the corner, and it's passed up over to Heiberg, and a nice break up there by Sudeikis, and it's backhanded in. Shot right up front, saved by Miles. Walsh takes a hit in the back behind the net, and it's going to get called. So power play for the Jayhawks coming up now. With 18:06 left to go.
It was a great play by Sudeikis, breaking up that opportunity. The Cornhuskers had a man right there ready to fire a shot right at Miles. There was no one in front of him. Sudeikis just broke up the pass. And then a couple seconds later led to the penalty. See what the Jayhawks power play can do now. 0 for 1 on the day. Got to get the power play unit going, Gabe, not only for the sake of the game today, but for the rest of the year, too.
So Siddons with it from the deep slot, trying to shot. It was blocked up front there by Davis, and he's going to dump it all the way back down. It'll take a bounce off the boards, go right to the tape of Miles, and he's going to leave it for Siddons. Siddons just wheeling in. Makes a fancy move. Backhand shot. He scores! Brett Siddons on the power play just wheeled right in and put it past Broadfoot, and it is a 3-1 lead for the Jayhawks.
Man, that's the third goal of the game. That just, I mean, the first goal was obviously a penalty shot, but the third goal of just like one man just weaving through defenders.
And that's one his family's going to appreciate even more, because he does have family here in Lincoln for the game, and that's who he skated right in front of and waved to.
Absolutely awesome. That was just a beautiful goal, too. Once again, Broadfoot, I mean, you really can't do much about stick handling like that. Puck's going to find the way in the back of the net if there's the will to do that.
So back behind his own net, it's going to be Timmy Leroy trying to get something going. So we'll get it over to the team captain, Rogers. Rogers poked off the puck by Gerber. Gerber having to retreat back a little bit. He'll get a cross-ice pass up to Schubert. Schubert headman trying to find Medina, but it's going to end up going over to Gerber, but the puck was just wobbling a little too much there. As it's going to be Heiberg dropping it back. A backhand shot there by Leroy. Nowhere close to the net. As McRae sending it back into the corner. Right to Schubert. Around the boards over to Bullard. As it's up over to Gerber. Gerber, his backhand saucer pass intended for Medina. But it's going to be picked up by Fantoni. Fantoni shoots one, just missing the net there. It's going to wrap around the boards. Bullard unable to hold the line as it was poked out by Leroy. Leroy walking in, poked off the puck by Schubert. So we'll fan on the wrister there, and it's going to be a rush for the Jayhawks now. Bullard dropped it back to Medina. Medina making a nice move. He's going to be held on to by McGinnis before taking a hit there in the corner. So it's going to be passed around to Biankowski, who got it up to Dugan. Dugan pressured off the puck by Schubert, and Schubert's going to take one up high right in front of the Jayhawk bench, but part of that was just the angle. As McGinnis tries a backhand shot, it's just going to bank off the boards right over to Dugan. Dugan and McGinnis, a backhand pass over to Clover now. Clover dropped it back. McGinnis, a backhand pass, broken up there by Fantoni. And Fantoni off the boards, try to find it to Barker. And it's thrown back in behind Miles. Bullard picking it up. He's able to get it out of the zone, and Meade able to chop it up. It's going to go into the zone. And no icing as Kearney lays a hit there on Biankowski. So the Jayhawks just buzzing out there. That fourth line doing a great job. As Kearney's getting into a battle along the boards, Barker goes in to help him out.
That's a true battle back there. Yeah, here we go. Oh, we have a glove. Someone's gloves just fell off or were dropped. I'm not sure what exactly happened.
And you see Dugan trying to give a few words over to Zach Roberts, but Roberts definitely has the height advantage there. And I think Kearney just lost his glove and his stick just because he was trying to get up.
Kearney was in a battle over there in the corner. He had a hand in his face. I'm not sure who it was for Nebraska. Had a hand right in Kearney's face, and I don't think Kearney liked that very much.
So Nebraska with a late change.
Not allowing that. This whole possession down the Nebraska end for the Jayhawks was caused, I believe. Zach Schubert had a very big play in it. He made that great defensive play when there was kind of a little bit of an odd man rush on the opposite end. He also got hit pretty hard right in front of the bench and hopped right back up. And then held the puck in, too, to keep the possession going.
So the face-off sent around over to Datina. Held in by Barker, who's quickly poked off the puck, and it's going to be Datina leading the charge up on the left side. Datina walks it in. Van Heerden try to pin him a little bit more, and a glove save made by Miles. And that keeps Nebraska from cutting it down to a one-goal lead.
That was a really nice quick reaction there by Miles. Datina made a nice move. Found a nice little lane, shot it. Miles was ready with the glove, though. Kearney's still shaking his head over what happened over there in the corner with that puck battle.
So the Huskers have it. Topol passing it over to Medina, fanning on the shot there. As it's going to be Feeney off the glass. Gets it out of the zone. Bontheus picking it up. As it's cranked in, knocked down out of the air by Breyer. Picked up by Hearn. Now Hearn from back behind his own net. Headman pass to Feeney, who tried to settle it for Siddons. And Luke Nessa with a long wingspan there, swatting that away. As it's going to be Hearn picking it up, throws it to the corner. Siddons picked it up, and it's going to be another Kansas power play.
Way late hit there.
So
I believe that was Matt Leslie who's going to go to the box for that. I mean, he finished the check maybe a solid second and a half as he's signaling toward the Kansas bench maybe.
Yeah, so it looked like a roughing maybe, the signal by the referee.
Completely unnecessary. There was no need to do that.
So Leslie will sit for 2. Kansas back on the power play. It was Brett Siddons who just walked in with no problem, put it past Broadfoot.
See if we can capitalize on it again.
So Siddons has it right off the faceoff as it was Nelson who won it back to him, and it's going to be sent over to Caleb Dusso. To Siddons. Shoots through traffic, blocked up front. Now Feeney in the corner. Played it around, trying to get it over to Nessa. Nessa getting the better end of that battle. As it's going to be Feeney with it. Dropping it over to Nelson. Nelson saucering it to Siddons. Now Siddons, he's going to wheel around, creating some traffic. Feeney trying to find it over to Nelson. Couldn't quite get a good angle on that pass. So it'll bank off the boards before going to the tape of Nelson. Finds it to Siddons again. Siddons looking for a lane and trying to find Feeney to tip it home. And the Huskers take it away and send it all the way back.
See if Kansas can get a nice little fast little charge here. Luke Nessa waiting by the blue line. Like you mentioned earlier, Gabe, let's see if they can try to get maybe Nessa in front of the net, maybe win that battle. Fire a couple shots off at Broadfoot and see if he can put one in.
So Nelson picking it up after Miles left it back behind the net for him. Nelson up on the left side as he tries to cut through the slot. Backhand shot, and he scores! Back-to-back hat tricks for number 16, Tyler Nelson.
That is just incredible. I mean, 6 goals through the weekend is unbelievable, and the way he's done that just today in general. The net came loose too, but you and I both saw that puck went in before the net was dislodged. 100% should be a good goal, and that's exactly what's going to be. Hey, after starting 0 for 1 on the power play, 2 for 2 this period.
Yeah, and I think part of that was just talked about in the locker room, especially with Coach, and they were talking about the number of shots. They counted 3 on the power play in the first period, and then obviously 2 goals here in the second. So now it's going to be Roberts trying to wrap it around. McGinnis. Now Gerber, his backhand pass intended for Medina goes a little too far, and Bontheus will crank it back in. Miles leaving it for Hearn. Hearn off the boards. Over to Medina, lost control of the puck, and it's going to be sent right back over to Hearn. Hearn tried to chip it into the zone, goes right to the tape of Leslie, and he'll try to get a headman pass up over to Clover. Settled to McGinnis and then into the zone. Hearn sending it right back out, right to the tape of Fantoni. And that third line for Kansas is going to go to work. Trying to drop it back over to Medina. But carried out of the zone there. Passed over to McGinnis. His shot knocked away there by Miles. Van Heerden now winning that battle. Van Heerden's going to skate it up. Van Heerden still has it. As he tries a shot on net, sticked away. Gerber trying to bat it out of the air and lost his footing.
Tried a nice little baseball play there.
A little back and forth action before it's finally sent over to Bontheus. Cross ice to Pate. Pate will swing down at the left side in the slot, try to shot on net and a glove save by Miles.
Maybe about a minute and a half, couple minutes ago, Nebraska had number 93, Dylan Solico, waiting, just sitting in front of the net, and he fanned on the pass. Looks like the puck bounced maybe a little bit right over his stick, but he had a wide open area right there to shoot it right at Miles and just fanned on it, it looked like. So it happened yesterday a ton too. I mean, the opportunities are there for Nebraska. The puck's either taking an unlucky bounce over their stick or they're just missing it.
So it's going to be Datina wrapping it around. Breyer battling in the corner against Topol. And it looks like that fourth line for Kansas back out there. Physicality starting to ramp up, especially in the corner.
Great job by Travis Breyer there.
Barker trying to send it out of the zone. A shot there by Rogers. And it's going to be held in there by Pate. A blast, not on net. Sent to the corner, and Barker using the body there to get the puck away. A nice stick lift there. And it's going to be along the boards. And a stoppage here. And here we go again. And it looked like Kearney getting in the middle of that again. Slow to get up. And it looks like they are signaling for the trainer. Kearney laboring that a little bit.
Looked like he just grabbed him by like the neck, maybe put him in a headlock and threw him down. I don't know if that was completely necessary.
Yeah. Favoring something on that lower body.
I believe that was number 9, Nathan Weber, who took him down.
So, not sure if anything is going to get called from that. Either way, 11:07 left to go in the second period. 4-1 our score. And it looks like Weber is heading to the box. Not sure what the penalty is quite yet, as both Duso and Rogers are over talking to the referees close to center ice.
It's not something you want to see right now.
Kearney still getting 10-2 by the trainers. And it looks like he is able to get up, but he is going to be helped off. Not putting any weight whatsoever on that left foot.
Not a good sign at all.
So Weber and Zadakis into the box.
There's more extracurricular stuff, and that's what's going to happen. If it's not controlled, someone's going to get hurt from it.
Yeah, especially when a lot of this just comes down to frustration and retaliation.
Kansas has 2 players in the box now.
Yeah, so it looks like Kyle Mead in there. So the only penalties showing up on the board right now, at least, are Weber and Mead, 2 minutes each. And now the penalty to Zadakis shows up, which is confusing because it's looking like it's a 5-on-3 right now.
That's not right. At least it shouldn't be. I mean, we saw a 5-on-3 yesterday that ended with 2 goals, so.
Okay, I see Dugan heading off the ice now, so it is going to be 4-on-3.
That's right. See if Kansas can get another good penalty kill here.
As it's Leroy with it. He's going to circle around before dropping it back over to McGinnis. McGinnis back to Leroy. Leroy top of the circle, trying to shot and save made by Miles. Still loose, and it's going to be a quick whistle. And the linesman will waste no time getting there to make sure no extracurriculars there.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of quick whistles now.
No idea what all the penalties were called are, and I'd imagine it's the same to the Nebraska broadcast team to our right, because I kind of looked over and they're just as confused as we are. As there's a shot there by Leroy, blockered away by Miles, rebound picked up by McGinnis, and Leroy with it again. Saucer pass over to Leslie. And it's going to be driven out of the zone by Breyer, as that'll come all the way back, and Broadfoot will play it up. Trying to find it to McGinnis, but it goes just a little far, and it's going to be Nelson with it. Nelson saucered over to Roberts. Roberts getting it back over to Breyer. And then Breyer's just going to loft that up with a backhand. Leslie sends it out. Breyer trying to pick it up at the neutral zone. It's going to be an odd man rush for the Huskers. McGinnis to Leroy, back to McGinnis and a save by Miles, and it'll hang on for the whistle with 9:55 left to go.
Great recognition by Miles that puck was sitting right in front of him loose. Great job just freezing it, and then, of course, the refs, very quick whistle, and the Jayhawks already ready to go. Ready for the, just in case that came loose again.
So 49 seconds remaining of this 4-on-3 as it's going to beat Datina with it. Passing it over to Heiberg. Heiberg to Bienkowski. A crossover to Topol. Topol now to Heiberg. Over to Siddons, who try to backhand it out of the zone. And a nice stick lift there. Frees up the puck where it'll go over to Roberts, who cleared it out of the zone. And about 20 seconds left on all the penalties. 9:25 left to go. Bienkowski drawing it in. A shot short side. Saved by Miles. Cleared but not out. Topol across to Bienkowski. Fanning on it. Siddons trying to backhand it out of the zone. It's going to be a battle along the board. Siddons getting tied up. That frees it up for Tina. Tina shoots one, missing the net by a mile. Bienkowski crossed over to Heiberg. Do so. Trying to chop it out. And it's going to be held in by Tina. Shot up front in the crease, and it's going to be sent out by Siddons. And it goes the length for an icing.
Looked like that hit a skate of actually one of the Jayhawks right in front of the net. Puck almost looked like it went in. It was the last chance for Nebraska on the very tail end of that power play. 5-on-5 hockey once again. Great job by the Kansas penalty kill unit, though. Just kept clearing it. Nebraska didn't get a lot of good opportunities until the very end of that penalty.
So a shot from the point, tipped up front, rebound loose. Miles making the save, but it's Bierenstraw picking up the rebound for the Huskers. Played to the far corner, Roberts on it, trying to play it off the boards to get it up and out over to Feeney, but it's going to be Quevedo for the Huskers now. But Hearn gets it back for Kansas, chopped out of the zone, and then quickly thrown back in. Now Roberts on it again, tries the headman pass. Wasn't quite sure who he was trying to connect to. Either way, a little back and forth at the neutral zone. Sent in on to Roberts. Roberts takes a big hit there. And he's going to get called. Just a little retaliation / penalty.
It's exactly what Nebraska wants to happen, too. The exact thing that they need to happen there. Gain any momentum. It was a nice hit. And then Roberts didn't like that very much.
Yeah, Roberts got upended and then knocked the stick out of the hands of the guy who hit him, so he'll sit for 2.
Essential penalty kill here. Last one was obviously important. All of them are, but this one especially because you have a penalty like that, the retaliation one. Nebraska scores are going to feel like they're going to have all the momentum in this game.
So Topol cross to Tina, shoots one into the netting and out of play.
Immediately, couple good shots, couple good opportunities. Fortunately, that one went off the post there if you're the Jayhawks. Got to win this face-off here, just clear it, maybe take some time off the clock.
So Tina trying to walk it in, toe drag, move, shot right to the chest of Miles, held on for another stoppage.
4 seconds later.
So it's going to be poked away by Nelson. And he's going to get in front of Bienkowski again, shoots! It looked like a save made there by Broadfoot.
Once again, he just created another opportunity and created a penalty. He wants another penalty shot. I do not think he's going to get it. But he drew a penalty just by having the speed again. That was a great save by Broadfoot. I thought that puck went in the net.
And then luckily for Broadfoot, it's not going to be a penalty shot.
I won't want to have to deal with that again if I was Broadfoot.
So 4-on-4 for about 1:35.
After a decently clean first period with penalty-wise, it's been a good amount in the second period, and we're still basically 8 minutes away.
So it's going to be Walsh Getting it to Breyer, a drive, missing the net there, but it's going to be held in at the line by Walsh. Finding it to Siddons, just bounced over his stick a little bit. It's going to be in that corner. So 4-1 our score, 7:25 left to go. Minute 16 left on the penalty, handed out to Roberts. So Datina now, poked off by Siddons. Siddons found it over to Nelson. Now Nelson's going to coast in. Shooting one, blocked away by Broadfoot. Thrown to the corner now. It'll be picked up by the Huskers. Heiberg now. And Datina a little offside there. Huskers get away with one, but it's going to be poked away there by Breyer. Siddons wanting a call down on the other side. Breyer moving it in. So he'll have to stop at the hash marks as he try to get a pass over. It's going to be a headman pass up over to Leroy. Leroy shooting one. Miles made the save, swatted away by Siddons. And now it's going to be Nelson coasting in on the right side. He'll move towards the deep slot, getting it over to Walsh. Walsh back over to Nelson. Back to Walsh, to Siddons in the slot. Shoots, hauled down as he took the shot. And it's going to be Feeney now with it, having a race for it. Now Feeney back to Breyer. Breyer up over to Siddons. Now Siddons. Fancy move, lost control as he was poked off by Leslie last minute. As it's going to be the Huskers dumping it down. No icing as they are on the penalty kill. As they blew the whistle, and not very many people happy with that one.
Nebraska bench not at all. Puck's going to be at center ice here for the face-off. Around 20 seconds left on the penalty for Nebraska. See if Kansas can capitalize here. We have to get a quick rush, though.
So Kansas throwing out that power play 1 unit just for the few 20 seconds there on the power play 4. This is McGinnis shooting one, blocked up front. It's going to be Feeney picking up the rebound, trying to send it back the other way. There wasn't a defenseman there, so Siddons having to go around and pick it up. This is going to be Nelson with it. About 3 seconds left to go here on the power play. Nelson, a headman pass up over to Dusso. Dusso spinning off a hit, a backhand pass over to Nelson. There's Siddons with it. Siddons to Dusso. Feeney with it now. Nelson makes a nice move, a shot short side, missing the net there. It's going to trickle out of the zone, and it's going to be picked up by Siddons. Trying to drop it back, went right to McGinnis. Now McGinnis stops in the slot, poked away there, and it's going to be Nessa leading the charge for Kansas. So he tried to get a little fancy there, poked away, and it's going to be sent back out of the zone. Dugan lost control. Siddons has it for the Jayhawks as he'll try to walk it in. Siddons tried a toe drag move. It was poked away up front. Now Dusso a shot right up front and out of play. So this stoppage coming with 4:50 left to go.
That man advantage that Kansas had, it was very the 4-on-4. They dominated the 4-on-4 for most of the time, only like maybe 10 seconds in the opposing zone time for Nebraska. Just continue to get more shots on Broadfoot here, as 3 goals have gone in this period. Can't let Nebraska can get any more momentum than they already have.
So backhanded in off the glass, intended for Gerber, but it's going to be Leslie making a nice move back in the far corner. So knocked down by Schubert. But back to possession of Leslie for the Huskers. Up over to Davis. Davis getting pressured heavily there by Gerber as it's thrown back in. Now Van Heerden wrapped it around over to Medina. Medina settles it over to Fantoni, and Fantoni will have it as he stops down at the left side. Fantoni tried a shot, and maybe getting a piece of it was Broadfoot. But either way, the Huskers will chop it down, and it'll slide far enough for an icing with 3:59 left to go.
They try to win this face-off here for the Jayhawks. I'm not sure if you would maybe just try to maybe build a play or just fire one right at Broadfoot. Bradford has been a lot better than we saw yesterday with the two goalies at containing the pucks what they're fired at. I'm not letting really a lot of bobbles.
So a shot from Duso right off the faceoff, held on to by Broadfoot. So just about 4 seconds after another stoppage. 4-1 our score, 3:55 left to go in period number 2.
Nebraska making a full line change here.
So the face-off, won right over to Tina, but it's poked away, and Nelson's going to hold it in. Nelson, a saucer pass, intending it for Duso, as he's going to have it in the corner. Passing it up to the point, a shot by Schubert, blocked up front. Now Nelson trying to center it, and it's going to go right to the tape there of Topol, but Schubert able to strip it away and keep it in the zone. So a saucer pass to Van Heerden from Nelson, as there's going to be a battle along the boards. Nelson still holding it in. He'll wrap it around the boards. Bullard able to get control of it. Nelson centering it, shot up front, turned aside.
Looked like Van Heerden tried to get a little piece of that puck off of Tyler Nelson's stick.
As it's cranked back in. Wrapped around. Schubert holding the line once more. He tries to wrap it around the boards. And it'll go the lengths for another icing on Nebraska. This time the stoppage with 2:47.
A lot of nice, just maybe clean hits from both sides. Last couple minutes of this game. Wouldn't be surprised if I saw a couple more. I think after a couple of those retaliations, I think both sides have realized that that's how you lose momentum, and that's how you lose every edge that you have to this game. Calm down a little bit on trying to get those penalties.
It's going to be wrapped around over to Bienkowski. Bienkowski up over to Weber, tipped it into the zone, right over to Hearn, and now across to Roberts. Roberts off the boards, up over to Feeney. A great bank pass, finds it over to Nessa. Nessa couldn't keep full control of it. It's just going to be wrapped around over to Roberts. Now Feeney wrapping it around the boards. Feeney getting up into there by Bienkowski.
Pretty late hit there by Bienkowski.
Now Siddon's a backhand shot. Puck was loose, no good, as Broadfoot standing tall there. Now Hearn with it, waiting, passing it over to Nessa. Nessa shoots up front, and it's tipped away by Broadfoot once more. Now Roberts trying to hold the line there. A little outnumbered, so Kansas having to regroup with it in the neutral zone. Over to Roberts, able to loft that one into the corner. And it's going to be Bienkowski and Feeney going at it. Siddon's got his stick on it, interrupted a pass intended for Heiberg. As it's back over to Walsh. Walsh trying to pass it through traffic, settled up front. However, too much bounce for Siddons to get a good shot off. Now it's going to be Leroy on the left side. Leroy swinging over to the right now. Tries a shot, unable to get on net. Now Walsh picks up the rebound, and he'll wait before making a pass. Waited a little too long as Clover able to strip it away. A nice stick check there by Breyer. Freed up the puck. Fantoni with it, able to get it out of the zone, but it looks like it'll be an icing on Kansas with 56 seconds left on the clock.
See if they can hold off any shots or anything that Nebraska can use as momentum going into the third period. Just try to get this puck out of their own zone. Maybe find some more shots on goal on Broadfoot. See if they can get a late rush here. A lot of more goals in this period than there were in the first. Seems a lot of firepower.
So McGinnis with a shot right over the net. As it's going to be sent over to Medina. Medina trying to bank it over to Fantoni. Fantoni lost his footing there, but it's going to be held in by McGinnis as he throws it to the corner. McGinnis tried a backhand pass to Clover, but Kansas taking it away, clearing it, but can't get it out as it was Pate holding it in. Now it's Walsh off the boards. He was able to get it out, so the Huskers have to get back on side with 23 seconds left to go here in the first period. Bank pass intended for Gerber. Went a little too far ahead, but Gerber able to win that battle. Holding it in was Fantoni, but quickly getting it back out was McGinnis. Now McGinnis, stick lifted by Fantoni, throws it to the right side. McGinnis again trying to drop pass. Dugan to Clover, shooting. Blocked up front, and that'll do it for period number 2. Kansas heads off with a 4-1 lead, as we'll be back in just a little bit for the third and final period of the weekend. Hello and welcome back for period number 3. Gabe Daniel alongside Mike Hoblick as it's the Jayhawks heading back out onto the ice with a 4-1 lead. They ended the first period tied at 1 and then came out explosive on the offensive end.
Tyler Nelson with another 3 goals on the day, 6 on the weekend. Kind of a ridiculous stat when you really think about it. If you're averaging 3 goals a game per weekend, it's pretty, and we still have a period left. You never know what he could do in this one too. It's just a pretty ridiculous stat. And obviously Brett Siddons with that beautiful goal too. Just some ridiculous stick handling. Something you don't really see very often. Except on this Jayhawk squad, it's pretty. You've seen a good amount recently. See how they can continue with their zone dominance that was at the end of that second period here at the start of this third.
As the faceoff won by Nebraska, but they have to chase after it. So Kansas starting this third period with their second line of Brett Siddons, Luke Nessa, and John Feeney. As it's dumped back in by the Jayhawks, picking it up behind the net is going to be Rogers for the Huskers. Up over to Pate. Pate getting it out of the zone. Up over to Datina on the left side, lost control. And Siddons will get it up over to Hearn. Hearn made a nice move there at center ice, poking it over to Feeney. And the Jayhawks offside.
A little too antsy there on their rush. See if Mitch Miles can still continue another great game he's had here today. See if he can continue that going. Keep handling those pucks that are fired at him very cleanly.
As it's dumped in, Miles playing it to the corner with the stick. Is this going to be Breyer to Siddons, trying to find it up over to Nessa, got it out of the zone, but it's right over to Leslie again. Leslie having to chase back after it. Bank pass off the boards, Weber over to Topol. Topol shoots, blocked up front there by Breyer. As it's sent out of the zone, Feeney left it for Siddons, and Siddons going to turn on the Jets once more. Siddons trying to drop it back, and it's not sent out as Walsh was able to hold the line. He got hooked down a little bit, and the physicality is starting to ramp up here.
Little barrel roll there.
As Nessa got taken down, and it looks like that one's going to get called.
Bodies all over the ice early. Yeah,
So,
very quick call there.
number 3, Matt Leslie heading off. And a power play for the Jayhawks.
I believe that's Leslie's second penalty of the day today. Had that one earlier. A little bit of a late hit on this first one.
So the Jayhawks changing up their second power play unit a little bit, as it's going to be Bullard out there with Medina and Gerber. A shot by Roberts from the point, blockered away by Broadfoot. Skipped out of the zone, and Walsh back on it for Kansas. Bank pass up over to Medina. Medina trying to get a head man up over to Bullard. And then Bullard racing to the corner. He gets upended there. And Biankowski trying to send it out. Walsh holding the line. Able to force it back in. Bullard right on it. And at the top of the circle, he has it. He'll button hook around, stopping right at the hash marks, getting it to Medina. Medina finding it to Walsh. Walsh waiting to Bullard. Shoots it, blocked up front, and it's going to be a foot race for the puck, and it's going to be Jakubsma just dumping it down. Miles comes out to play it, and Bullard will swap with Feeney. Now Gerber with it.
Full line change there.
So Gerber on the right side, he's going to stop there at the top, or bottom of the circle rather. Poked off the puck there, now McGinnis with it. He's going to backhand it all the way down. Batted out of the air there by Clover. It would have been a high stick if he tried to play it.
Ref immediately signaling high stick on that.
This is going to be Dusso dropping it over to Nelson. Nelson up on the left side, coasting in. He's going to drag around. Nelson dropped it back to Feeney. Feeney shoots through traffic on the back door. Nessa was ready for the tip in. As is Siddons again. Feeney. Cross to Duso under the goal line, pressured off the puck. It's going to be sent over to Nelson. Nelson, Feeney again. Feeney shooting, kicked away there by Broadfoot. Clover sending it down all the way down for the Huskers once more. And that should be a successful penalty kill.
We talked about it earlier in the game. The Nessa's just sitting in front of the net waiting to maybe a redirect or maybe a nice little pass in front. Got that pass there, just couldn't finish it.
A great job there by Siddons holding the line. Siddons shooting it, but it was tipped. And it's going to be an odd man rush, a 2-on-0 for the Huskers. Leroy, backhand shot, and he scores.
Just an unfortunate bounce of the puck there for the Jayhawks. It was a beautiful finish, though, by Leroy. And really nothing, you can't really do much if you're Mitch Miles there. Had a 2-on-0 advantage, had to worry about the other guy, too. Got to shake that one off, short-term memory, like we said yesterday. It was a big thing about last night's game.
So it's going to be 16 minutes left to go, a 2-goal game. As it's going to be Weber. So it's going to be dropped back over. And a big hit behind the net there by Van Heerden, who sent that one out of play.
Van Heerden, one of the biggest guys on this KU team, laid a massive hit there behind the net. Talking a little bit to some Cornhuskers. Jayhawks got to find a way to get some zone time here, get it out of their own.
So a face-off win by Nebraska, quickly shot, and Miles turned it aside as it's Jakubsma holding it in. Over to Weber in the corner. As it's going to be Schubert skating it out. Schubert trying to find it over to Gerber. But it goes right over to Bontheus. Held in by Medina. As Fantoni made a nice move with it. Off the boards, finding it to Gerber. Looks like Gerber tried to find someone on the back door with a pass, but it was broken up by Jakubsma. As he tries a headman pass up over to Topol. Topol tried a shot, hit a man up front, sent up over to Gerber. Was able to sweep it out of the zone, and it's going to be Rogers sending it back in.
Like you mentioned, I think he had Medina right in front of the net. Just couldn't. It was a great play by the Nebraska defenseman. I believe it was Jakubsma, like you said.
So McCray around the boards to Heiberg. Heiberg the other way. It's just going to be Gerber picking it up. He gets up into it again. This is going to be sent down and icing on the Jayhawks.
Gerber not happy with himself after that one. 5.5 minutes into this third period. Nebraska cut down the Kansas lead. Definitely wanting to do the same here if they're Nebraska. Just get a quick goal maybe. They want to keep peppering Miles with these shots. Not quite sure. I believe a timeout was called. I'm not sure.
So 14:28 left to go, 4-2 our score, period number 3. Looking ahead to next weekend, Kansas will be back in the state of Nebraska taking on the Omaha Mavericks, as the Mavericks will be playing Creighton tomorrow, and that'll have some big implications on some of the final seeding for the Matra Conference tournament.
It's also, Creighton and Omaha are both in Omaha, obviously, so that'll be a good game. The atmosphere in that will be absolutely awesome.
So the face-off win by the Huskers, but Kansas quickly able to get it out of the zone as it was Duso trying to find Bullard with the headman pass. So it looks like Bullard again replacing Zadakis on that top line. Leroy with it. Trying to wrap it around. As it's back over to McCray, pass through the slot, and it's going to be skated out by Duso. As he gets knocked down. And takes an unnecessary hit right in front of the referee. Either way, it's going to go right over to Breyer. Duso right back to Breyer. Breyer gets brought down, and it's going to be sent back around.
We have a penalty here.
And of course it gets called on to Kansas, so it's going to be touched by Bullard and a stoppage with 13-17 left to go.
After they called the penalty on Breyer, it looked like his stick got held maybe a little bit. Wasn't very happy with the whole circumstance that happened right there. See if the penalty kill is going to have to come in clutch here. They don't want a one-goal game here with still way over half left in the third period. Good start, though.
So Datino with it, across over to Topol. Topol on the left side, carrying it down. He's going to be pressured off the puck by Cole Walsh. Walsh getting pressured heavily against the boards. As Weber's going to come up with it, it's going to be wrapped around. Bienkowski with it, across to Datino. Datino drags, shoots, missing the net there. Beat everything but the net on that one. And it's going to be a delayed penalty on Kansas. I'm assuming it'll be Roberts with that net front battle. A one-time shot up front by Topol. Heiberg with it now. Now to Datina.
Brought it out an extra man here.
Cross to Bienkowski. Lost his footing, and the penalty will be called. So, yup, on Zach Roberts for roughing when it was just a net front battle.
5-on-3 for a minute and 15 seconds here.
Which the 5-on-3 power play Nebraska got last night is where they got their success.
Yep. They scored 2 goals on that 5-on-3 actually, so that'll be the second goal. If they could get 2 goals here, the second goal would be the equalizer. The Jayhawks do not want that at all.
So Nelson, Duso, and Hearn, the 3 out for Kansas.
See if they can get a quick clear off this face-off. That's exactly what they do.
Yeah, so Nelson was able to sort of make a toe drag move right off the draw and dumped it down, and Kansas just waiting for them in the neutral zone. So Leroy on the right side, he's going to swing in, taken off the puck by Hearn. He tries to send it all the way back, and it's going to be Leslie with it. Over to Dugan. Dugan up on the right side. At the bottom of the circle, he'll send it over to McCray. McCray getting it up over to Leslie. Leslie intercepted by Nelson, and it's going to be a foot race for the puck. Nelson under the goal line. He's just going to walk around with it, and he's going to bring it back.
Just wasting a lot of time, too. It was a great job by Tyler Nelson.
So Duso able to send it all the way back down. About 15 seconds till Breyer's out of the box. .11 and a half minutes to go. 4-2 still the score. Poked away there by Datina. Duso able to chip it up and away. And Breyer's out of the box, so Kansas 1 man short. It's now 5-on-4 in favor of the Huskers, as it's Bienkowski with it in the corner. Played around to Heiberg. Heiberg to Datina. A pass that just skittered right over the blade of his stick. And the Huskers having to regroup here. Bienkowski dropping it back to Weber. Weber sending it to Datina and front side. Missing the net there was Topol. So Datina spinning into a shot. Miles turning it aside. Now to Tina. A one-time shot by Bienkowski, punched away by Miles. As it's Heiberg with it. To Tina to Bienkowski. Bienkowski across Heiberg. Pass couldn't connect. And the Jayhawks, a very successful and important penalty kill.
What a job by the penalty kill unit there. Allowing no shots really even close on net. The 5-on-3 was magnificent as Nelson just wasted a ton of time.
What a steal by Feeney. Shoots, he scores! Feeney snipes. 5-2 Jayhawks.
Bad turnover there for Nebraska in their own end. I mean, Feeney was right there waiting for it. There was no one between him and the net except the goaltender, Broadfoot, and Broadfoot couldn't make the save. It was a great job by Feeney, though, just sniping that one in. And now they just got the goal right back.
So 5-2 our score now. 10-10 left to go.
The Kansas fans here chanting Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
As it was dumped in, Broadfoot punching it to the corner. Trying to throw it on net there was Siddons. It was an odd angle, but it's going to be Bierenstraw leading the charge for the Huskers. A headman pass knocked down out of the air by Nessa. Nessa able to tip it out of the zone. And Feeney trying to poke it away from Bierenstraw. Pass connected over to Davis. Davis walking it in. Nessa getting a little physical on that end. Quevedo picking it up now. He's knocked down by Van Heerden. And it's going to go up over to Nessa, who lost control. So Jacobsma sending it away. Schubert up over to Feeney, trying to leave it for Siddons. And a nice poke there by Schubert. Wasn't sure who it was at, but Feeney knew where.
Great job by
Cross
Schubert.
to Nessa. Nessa carrying it in. Waiting across, and it looked like he tried to find Siddons, but a Nebraska defender got his stick on that one and sent it out. Dumped in by Jacobsma. Behind his own net, Schubert picks it up. Cross ice over to Siddons. Siddons had a nasty goal there in that second period as it's over to Gerber, shooting one right over to Broadfoot. Siddons tried to poke it loose, but a stoppage with 9 even left to go.
That's like one of the first times I've really seen Broadfoot not contain complete control of the puck on that save there. Looks like something going on in the bench area. Doesn't look too serious.
As it's sent back the other way. Breyer lost control, but Walsh able to poke it away. Unable to get it out of the zone was Gerber, so Walsh with it again behind his own net. Fantoni lofted it up in the air. It's going to be settled down by Bienkowski, and he'll get it over to number 93. Fantoni with it. Carried it into the zone. Jacobsma hitting him off the puck there. Fantoni getting right back up, making a play over to Walsh. Shoots, blocked up front. Spinning around was McGinnis, but either way, skating out is going to be Jacobsma. Jacobsma gets hit there by Gerber and Walsh. As the puck will find its way over to Clover. Poked away by Gerber. Gerber waiting across, and Medina had it stripped away. And now it's going to be a rush here for the Huskers. Leslie walking it in. And so will just curl back, waiting for some extra help. Leslie skating it back. Crossed over to Bonthius. Sent into the zone. Settled by Miles behind his own net and left for Van Heerden. Rather, that was Roberts. As this is going to be Nelson skating it up. He tried to get a pass over to Bullard. Nelson got spun around a little bit, and as the puck was just at his feet, gets sent out. Hearn will dump it back in.
Great job by Dylan McCray of the Cornhuskers. He kind of stopped Tyler Nelson's momentum there, caused him to spin around.
As that puck goes up into the ceiling and out of play. So we get a stoppage with 7:18 left to go. 5-2 still our score.
As we get later into this game, we saw last night the frustration penalties came out and the frustration really boiled over. Wondering if now Nebraska is really going to try to get into the Jayhawks' head to cause maybe these penalties and get these man advantages, or get some even worse, some ejections.
as it's dumped into the zone. A great job by Meade to steal that puck away from Pate as he played it back behind the net for Barker.
A great undercut.
As it's chopped out of the zone over to McRae. Schubert trying to take it away, but it's quickly back in possession of Leroy. Wrapped around. Barker trying to get it out of the zone. Now Meade. Lost control. Weber holding it in. Nice toe drag move. Made it around Schubert. Datina, a backhand shot, not on net. Weber picking up the rebound. Back over to Rogers. Wrist one from the point. A line drive from the blue line. Finds the glove of Miles. And another whistle. This time with 6:32 left to go. 5-2 still our score.
Datina had a great lane to fire that puck and he just looks like he missed it. Made a nice couple moves. Just could not fire a shot off at Miles.
So Kansas won the draw, trying to fight it up over to Feeney, but the Huskers quickly crank it back in as it'll be Van Heerden with it. He tries to slap it along the boards. Weber picking it up, but now Siddons has it. And Siddons will use a bank pass over to Feeney. Feeney stops at the top of the circle. Trying to find it over to Nessa, who lost control. Schubert racing back to get it, couldn't keep it in. As it's going to be wrapped around over to Van Heerden. As he was poked off the puck. Now Nessa on it. In the corner, banking it over to Siddons. Siddons to Van Heerden. On the left side, Van Heerden had only one hand on a stick, so it's easily poked away. Sent back in, Miles has to settle it for Nessa. Nessa to Van Heerden. Van Heerden gets upended. And a stoppage here.
Yeah, they're not going to like that. It's another circumstance that we were talking about earlier, just trying to hit him, trying to cause maybe something. They didn't waste very much time. The puck was immediately touched by the Cornhuskers,
So Bierenstra heads off for two. It looked like the signal from the referee was tripped. And then Dusso is going to try to plead a case with the referee. I think they were wanting something a little more severe than just a 2-minute. Either way, they won't get it. 5:24 left to go.
Take advantage of the man advantage here.
5-2 our score. The face-off won by the Jayhawks as it's Dusso to Siddons. It's back to Nelson in the deep slot. The umbrella set up again for the Jayhawks. As it's quickly dumped down by the Huskers. So just 5 minutes left to go here now. 1:35 on the penalty handed out to Bierenstra. As Siddons with speed on the left side. He's going to curl around under the goal line. Wrapping around the net now. Siddons, a drop pass to Nelson, finding it to Feeney. Just a little too much heat on that one. And then Feeney backhanding it around the boards. Was trying to find Nessa, but he wasn't there in time. Either way, it's held in at the line by Nelson. Saucered over to Siddons. And then unable to hold the line there was Nelson. But an ill-advised pass goes right to Dusso. Dusso right to Nelson. As Nelson lost control, was able to ensure that it went to Feeney. And Feeney kind of pressured off the puck there by Heiberg as he was able to send it in. Comes all the way back down where Miles will settle it. Used his stick to pass it up over to Gerber. And Gerber will skate it in. Gerber dropping it to Feeney. Feeney left it for Nelson. Nelson curls around. Back to Feeney. Feeney to Dusso. Try to pass it to the point. No one was there, so it comes back out. Feeney again. Over to Dusso. Dusso up front into Medina, couldn't connect. Gerber racing in, trying to make a backhand pass over to Dusso. Holding the line was Walsh. A saucer pass over to Gerber. Gerber trying to settle it up front over to Bullard. And then Medina took a hit there, and that got a rise from the crowd a little bit. It's going to be a breakaway for Leroy. Shoots, and a save made by Miles. Actually, no, it squeaked in. It for sure looked like Miles had it. And the Huskers make it a 2-goal game once again with 3:07 left to go.
Huskers made it interesting. Yeah, I fully thought Miles had that completely stopped. Once again, short-term memory. He's going to need to have that. We're coming down to the last few minutes of this game. William, like you said, Gabe, pass in that power play. Nelson had a pass to Feeney, just a little too much and a little too far ahead. I mean, Jacob Broadfoot was all the way on the left side of his crease. Feeney gets control of that puck and fires a shot. That's a goal in this completely different situation right now. Instead, they kill it, and we're now with a 2-goal game.
So it's wrapped around. Kept into the zone by Datina. So it was Timmy Leroy making it 5-3, and a shot that just hit the post. So it's Pate, cross ice, wide open shot, save made by Miles, and that time it didn't go in.
That's a clutch save there by Mitch Miles. It almost looked like he made sure, too, that it didn't go by him. Everyone kind of held their breath for a second. Made a great save, though, overall.
2:44 left on the clock. 5-3 our score, and a timeout called by Nebraska. So I would assume here within the next 40 minutes or 40 seconds rather, that they would try to pull the goalie.
I was about to say the same thing. Wondering if they're discussing if they get more control again in the zone, in Kansas' zone, they're going to pull them. Yeah, get an extra man out there.
Because typically it's within the last 2 minutes where we really see the goalie go off and the extra attacker come on. And you know, Nebraska's starting to gain a little bit of momentum here. So you'd think that as soon as they get full control in the Kansas zone, that Broadfoot would head off.
And then once, if you're Kansas, then if you put a puck in the back of the net, make an empty net goal, pretty much you could ice the game very well. Cannot let, like we just saw with that goal, it just scoot by. You can't let, you got to, if you're Mitch Miles, you got to field them cleanly, save them cleanly. See what happens here.
So again, 2:44 left to go, 5-3 our score. And right off the draw, it's Rogers backhanding it in. As it's Topol banking it off the boards. Over to Rogers, skips out of the zone, and it's going to be a foot race. And Rogers got there first, but Bullard trying to poke it loose. Now Pate with it. Now Nelson. Bullard getting pressured, helped Nelson get the puck. Nice move there, a shot blockered away. As it's going to be Datina skating it in. You could see Broadfoot standing at the top of his crease as it was banked out of the zone, intended for Bullard, but it's picked up by Bienkowski, and he'll skate it in. As it's redirected back in, it's going to be Hearn on it. So he tries to wrap it around. He's able to get it out, and it was tipped, so it comes all the way back. No icing, as a Husker did deflect it. So it's going to be a headman pass up over to Weber. Thrown in the zone, and that'll be an icing on Nebraska. And the stoppage with 1:39 left to go.
It's a good job by Kansas continuing to keep pressure on him so he cannot go to the bench. Kansas keeps this in the zone. They have no choice but to keep him in.
I wonder if it was an incorrect icing call by the referees because everyone's lined up at center ice.
Yeah, the last time we saw that, it was on when they thought it was a penalty. They had the power play. He iced it, and they put it at center ice afterwards.
So it's Juan back over to Leslie. Leslie. Headman pass connects over to Heiberg, and Broadfoot off, and the extra attacker on. This is going to be a battle under the goal line. A nice shot block there by Walsh. She's able to at least get it out of the zone. That forces Leslie to regroup. Miles left it for Walsh. Walsh sending it out of the zone. And an icing on the Jayhawks.
Nebraska's got to, if they want a chance at tying this game, they have to get this first goal very quickly here. You usually want around at least a minute, 45 seconds to score that equalizing goal with an empty net. So you have time to get a couple shots off, maybe just poke one in. But you got to get this first one fast.
And it's won by Dugan. Across to Leroy, a shot through traffic sent wide. And it's thrown back to the corner for Heiberg. Heiberg getting pressure there by Siddons. Puck still loose, Nebraska with it. As it's in the far corner, Feeney with it now. Feeney sent it out. It was tipped, no icing. So 40 seconds left to go. Dugan with it. Across over to Bonthias. Bonthias sent it in. Bullard able to backhand it into the zone. It's going to be over to Nessa. Nessa shoots one, and it's going to go over. It was going to be offsides anyway.
A couple of Jayhawks kind of threw their hands up. Looked like they were smiling at Nessa after that shot. Refs discussing here.
So 28.9 seconds left on the clock. 5-3 the score. Face-off right outside the Nebraska zone. Broadfoot still on the bench as the face-off is won over to Biankowski. A head man up to Topol. Held in there by Datina. Datina trying to walk in. It's going to be stripped by Nelson. Nelson just tucking it wide as he almost potted home the dagger.
Almost got his fourth of the game.
As it's over to Leroy. Leroy fanned on the shot. As it's 3 seconds left to go, and that'll do it here from the John Breslow Hockey Center here in Lincoln, Nebraska. You can rock chalk this one up as Kansas completes the sweep on the weekend and the season overall against the Nebraska Cornhuskers, having won all 4 games against them. They took last night's game 8-3, and they take tonight's 5-3. Again, Gabe Daniel joined alongside Mike Hoblick. We'll see you guys next weekend as the Jayhawks will travel to Omaha, Nebraska to take on the Omaha Mavericks.
That'll be a great series.
Especially for the final regular season series of the season. Till then, take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, rock chalk.